So, college football playoff expansion is upon us. I believe the current contract for the CFP runs for another couple years, 3 or 4 years, I think. And I believe it's the playoff committee or NCAA committee has voted to explore expansion. I think it's inevitable because expansion equals more money, and we know the NCAA is all about that. So if I had it my way, if I was the decider, the commissioner of college football, if you will, I would keep it at four teams. I think it should be difficult to get in. I think it helps to emphasize the regular season, and I just think it should be 4 teams. I think it should be very difficult to get in. I think, losing 2 games as it stands today, should eliminate you because we only want the best teams. This, notion that, we should do Division 1AA FCS, they do a 64 team playoff. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. I think if expansion were to happen and I was the commissioner, what I would implement would be an 8-team playoff. And the way I would do it is I would have every Power 5 team, every Power 5 conference champion would get an automatic bid. And so that would be my first 5 spots. The next 2 spots would be 2 at-large teams. So essentially taking those Power 5 teams out. Then the next thing I would look at is who are the next 2 best teams. Both of those teams would get in. And the last team would be the number 8 seed would be left for the highest ranked group of 5 team. That is essentially how I would handle it. Part of me thinks too, the top 2, 1 and 2 should get a bye. So yeah, I'd say that. First 2 teams, number 1 and number 2 would get a bye. So I believe if we were treating it the way, with this season that just wrapped up, Alabama would be number 1. I think Clemson was 2. So both of those teams would get a bye. Number 3 would play number 8. 3, 8, 4, and 7. And then 5 and 6 would play in round 1. And basically the next round would be, the top 2 teams would play the lowest ranked next 2 teams and would be off and running from there. I don't know. I am someone that I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect plan for trying to figure that out. I mean, like I said, people thinking that 64 teams should have a shot at the national championship. I just don't think that's true. I don't think that every team deserves a chance to get to the national championship. And what I mean by that is, right, an undefeated UCF team, we should find a way for them to have a chance to compete for a national championship. But as a team, for UCF, you also got to understand, you got to get some teams on the schedule. And I know they are doing that and going through that process, but, for a BYU team, had they beaten Coastal Carolina and went undefeated, there's absolutely no way they should have deserved the shot to get in. You didn't play any Power 5 schools. There's got to be a balance to it. There needs to be a path for the little guys, the group of 5 teams. But at the same time, too, group of 5 teams, you got to beat somebody, and I think it's a difficult thing to do because you look at a team like Houston back when Tom Herman was there, and they played Oklahoma down to the wire, and I believe they played Oklahoma pretty close, but that was the team that you needed to have on your schedule to be able to get to the national championship. Now, Houston didn't win out and win all their games, but there's got to be a balance with the schedule. You can't just have, 10, 12 straight games of cupcakes and think that you're going to be able to get into the college football playoff, because it shouldn't be that way. Everybody doesn't deserve to get in. And even with the solution that I recommended, there's problems with that too. I believe Oregon just won the Pac-12 this year at the Pac-12 championship. They didn't even win their division. So I'm still kind of hard pressed on that, where it's like, man, every Power 5 team doesn't deserve to be in. Like, that's just not that. I feel that way strongly. Like, I don't feel like, every team or every Power 5 champ deserves to get in. But I think with the 2 at-large teams, what it does is gives teams a leeway to be able to get in. Because I think of, for instance, championship weekend, if Florida were to beat Alabama, right, Florida get the automatic bid, and even if you took out 5 teams, I don't think that there's going to be, 2. Alabama would still have gotten in. And I think the same thing with like Ohio State. If they were to lose to Northwestern gets in, I think Ohio State still would have had a shot to get in there. But I think that would definitely create a little more excitement with championship football weekend. And you still leave some leeway for, a good team who loses, one game in a conference championship. And so let me know your thoughts. I know people are kind of, I feel like there's no one who's kind of in the middle. It's like, I don't want expansion, or I do. But if you've got some thoughts on it, definitely leave a comment, drop a like. Would love to hear your thought and your response on it. So appreciate you listening to the end. Peace.